So we'll talk about the service department since we're on Bethel heavies. The service department was kind of what you think they were. You know from anywhere that all the exjws or anything. Anytime you ever heard about CSA, that's where the phone calls go. And who's picking up those phone calls? Just young elders. And those young elders are, whew, they're carrying a lot of weight because they it's not like you choose to do that. Nobody wants to do that. They rotate those brothers out. I think it is monthly or every 3 months or something like that. It might be monthly because the phone calls about CSA don't stop. And that was kind of one of my first cracks. When my friend got moved to the service department and legal department, he told me about the amount of phone calls that we were getting on a daily basis. And honestly, anybody who answers the phone actually gets those phone calls. It gets routed to the service department. So then the service department takes it up, and usually it's an elder on the phone, young elder. He takes on the initial um, report and sends it off to whoever he needs to send it off to. And almost always it's going to be legal, and you're going to get some type of legal counsel almost immediately on it. And someone will be assigned to that um, report. So we can get into that later, but I'm just talking about the people who comprise the department. Again, you're just a normal guy. You just are trying to navigate through Bethel. You don't even have to be there that long. You're just an elder. I know someone who was an elder, had gone to one of the schools outside, and then finally applied to Bethel, or he was invited to Bethel, and then he got put in service department. And yeah, he was like, it was stressful for them. And they're constantly, they can't talk about it. Who are you going to talk to about this? It's immediately confidential. You can't say anything to anybody. They're the ones keeping the darkest of secrets. They're the ones safeguarding the most precious secret of the organization, which is the database. And they are stressed. Those guys are not living a normal life. And they see it. The cognitive dissonance has to be daily with them. You have to almost go to a different place in your mind. A lot of them don't, they're not normal people. Like when you hang out with them, you talk to them, they're very like, oh, whatever about everything because they know what's happening. They know what's really happening. They see the dirty stuff of the entire organization, not just um, not just Bethel. They're seeing the stuff in the branch territory. And that phone is off the hook. It is someone's assignment to pick up the phone and answer calls about CSA, and that is just a young elder. And then he forwards it to whomever's going to take care of it. You have to be desensitized in some way. Maybe you're not desensitized to CSA, but you're desensitized to the fact that this organization has problems, and they're big problems and you can't fix them. And if you see something that you want to fix, you can't fix it. Then what are you going to do? Nothing you can do about that. You just do the job. Go to a place in your mind where, okay, this is just my job. I'm going to forward this phone call, and that's that. I'm going to file these papers. I'm going to look at these paperwork. I'm going to make sure it moves to the right desk. That desk goes to this desk. That letter goes to this congregation, and that's that. I don't have to worry about it. The service department brothers are, they're probably the most conceited people because they have to have almost like, well, we're still the best organization despite all of our issues, and we are right. They get all the complaints. Most of the telephone complaints go straight to them. And so they really have to be like, well, who cares? Nobody cares about your little complaint. All of what we're doing is mostly right. So complain if you want to, but we're not changing. And just imagine what that can do to someone. I didn't have too many friends in service department for obvious reasons. Our personalities would not have melded well, and I would not have lasted 1 year in that department. I would have probably been PMO so fast and left ASAP after that. And a lot of times when you're at Bethel, just all in all, this is everybody. When you experience something that rocks your faith or causes the cognitive dissonance to begin, a lot of times you mentally already checked out of the of the Bethel service, and you're already starting to make your way out, trying to figure out something else to do. You don't want to be there anymore, so you're going to try and figure out a way to get out. And a lot of Bethel department heads see a lot of stuff. You're dealing with people. People don't stop being people. And there's a measure of leeway that we had in our mind. And that's kind of why it took us a long time to say, something's wrong with the organization. And, maybe this is something bit deeper than just people being people. Because you have to give leeway to people being imperfect. Okay, yeah, these are people. You're going to have the same problems that you would have out in the world and in the congregation here at Bethel. But when those things keep happening, or that becomes the characteristic of the majority of the problem, your mind has to go to something's wrong here. And if you are answering those phone calls in service department and in legal department, and I won't touch too much on legal department, I will just in a second. But if you are answering those phone calls, you're dealing with these issues, you have to be thinking 2 or 3 times over and over again in your head about, what is this organization doing? Why is this policy allowed? And I would venture to say at least 50% of the Bethel family itself, whether they deal with that in their department or not, has to be thinking to themselves, this policy needs to change. And Bethel family is actually a very positive, progressive, by and large, push for change. A lot of the changes that you do see happen do come from the Bethel family putting, little notes in the governing body's ear or the branch committee's ear or the helper's ear, like, what about this? What do we think about this? Or, when we're at the table and lunch and things like that, or we're at the barbershop or the hair salon, those are big gossip areas. We talk like normal, but we talk about things that we're concerned about. When it came to pioneer hours being lowered, many Bethelites were talking about that. When it came to other Bethel policies or Bethel rules that they had stopped enforcing, or they changed all the way around, by and large the Bethel family did that. The beard issue, by and large Bethel family, because we were the first line. We were literally in the governing body's ear, literally in the branch committee's ear, literally in the helper's ear. And if you are a branch committee member or helper to the governing body or the governing body, and you're constantly hearing your closest friends, your closest support system say, hey, what do you think about this? Or don't you think maybe we should think about this? And over and over and over and over and over again, or you're constantly being asked the same questions over and over and over again. Even like, passive aggressive or microaggression, like, oh, well, so you guys let brothers wear beards, you're gonna let the sisters wear pants to the meeting, like these types of things happen. And so we were a positive kind of push toward progressivism, and that is kind of not the root of the changes, but I think when they saw that we were voicing concern over the things in the organization that we would like to see changed, they definitely took that into consideration, the fact that we kept saying it over and over again. And that's why I feel like the next changes that are going to happen, when we all collectively say the same thing, usually that's what's about to happen.